A uniformed U.S. Army official walked into a sitting congressman's office and briefed him on a secret military program, captured non-human entities in forced breeding programs with human subjects. And at least 12 locations across the country are operating this program. And at the same time, a different congressman and an independent researcher laid out the most detailed public map yet on how these programs are organized, who sits at the top, and why no executive order can touch them. Hey ufologists, I'm Christina Gomez, and welcome back to this episode of UFO News Updates. When former Congressman Matt Gaetz described on the Benny Johnson show what he shared personally in a classified setting is very interesting. He held compartmentalized clearance above the standard congressional briefing level and sat on the Emerging Threats Subcommittee for 8 years. And then Gaetz stated this on the Benny Johnson show. Take a listen.
Wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was uniformed. He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army. Came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened.
Gaetz's general counsel is at the time suggested the briefer had likely lost his mind and made a PowerPoint, but he has since changed his mind since his time in office. And Gaetz says that we know a lot more now than what we did then. And with all the latest investigations taking place, he's not wrong. Independent researcher Sam Gerb, known online as UAP Gerb, has spent 2 years building direct relationships with individuals who claim firsthand knowledge of UAP retrieval and exploitation programs. And to collect all that information, he doesn't even hold any government clearances. He sat down with Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson, a member of the House Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets, on the Fresh Freedom podcast.
I had always heard UAP crash retrieval programs and reverse engineering programs, and always thought of it as this nebulous bubble of, what could possibly be doing that? Is it the big U.S. government? Is it the big amorphous they? But then seeing David Grush testify and actually talking to various members and saying, misappropriation of funds, IRAD, independent research and development are used to fund these programs. And I stopped looking at the subject so nebulously and was able to start kind of connecting dots. And since then, about 2 years, I've embarked on my own journey to meet with as many individuals who have claimed to work firsthand within these programs or have firsthand knowledge, engage with them and try and flesh out how these programs operate, their history, their modus operandi, and so forth.
What Gerb built from those 2 years is a structural map, really like a pyramid, and at the top sits what he calls a UAP control group. He says the last person to hold a centralized view of the entire portfolio was former Vice President Dick Cheney. When Cheney left office in 2009, that central oversight collapsed. No single person has held a complete picture since. Below that sits the intelligence agencies, the CIA, the NSA, the DIA, and the NGA, and all of the armed forces. Even their figureheads may not be read into it. It is a specific compartment within those structures that hold individual pieces. And below